Hello and welcome to our latest food law video. Today, Nick Johnson and I are here to talk about the government consultation on advertising bans on foods which are high in fat, salt or sugar.
We are. They're super interesting and quite bold proposals from the government to restrict both TV advertising for these types of food and also online advertising as well.
Exactly, but very interestingly they're creating a new category or a new way of thinking about which ads would be restricted. So the ads, it's not just about ads for foods which are high in fat, salt or sugar, so HFSS, but they also need to be ads for foods which fall into one of the Public Health England's reformulation categories.
So it's foods that fall into both of those categories.
Exactly, yes. So it's a little bit narrower to what we're used to in the advertising world. But as you say, there are some really bold, interesting options. I think the greatly anticipated one in terms of TV was the watershed ban, which would be from 5:30 a.m. till 9 p.m. But the slightly interesting one that we weren't expecting is what they've called the ladder proposal. And the idea here would be that HFSS works on a point scoring system, and the lower the points of your products are, the more advertising you can do. So it's a little bit of an idea that there'd be a bit of a carrot for industry for hitting those reformulation targets.
Kind of incentive for them to change their products to fall into the lower categories.
Very much so, but there's no detail at the moment about what advertising privileges you would get. So I wondered if you had any thoughts on what could come.
Well, I wonder what it might be. I mean, I suppose it could be, you know, the really good products where they've reformulated extensively could get more airtime potentially, or you know, there could be a restriction on those in the middle category to only a certain amount of airtime during the week, and then those in the higher category would get no advertising at all.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean that would certainly be one thing. It could also be about restricting certain mechanics, because we've seen that before. Mechanics which are known to particularly influence children.
The use of celebrities and cartoon characters, maybe.
Yeah, could be that. And then the third TV proposal is just no change, no influence. Yes, tell me about online.
Well, the online proposals are really out of the blue and pretty much unprecedented, not just in this country, but I think globally. The idea, well, there's a few proposals. One is to mirror the watershed for TV in the online world, so that video ads and banner ads and all kinds of other advertising and marketing activity online for these restricted products would be prohibited from 5:30 a.m. UK time to 9 p.m. UK time. Interesting. You could certainly see there's a potential displacement effect if that were to happen with advertisers looking at out-of-home posters, billboards and so on as preferential to online. So yes, that was one of the proposals. Another was to change the definition of ads that are specifically targeted or mostly targeted at children. Currently a 25% rule is used, such that if the audience is 25% or more children, then the restriction applies. The proposal here is to change that to 10%. I think this comes really from concerns around TV viewing, where kind of general family viewing of things like The X Factor hasn't been caught by the 25% rule because the audience is just under 25% children. But now they seem to be proposing some kind of change in the online world to reflect that. Seems a little odd. And then the third category for online was a hybrid of those two, where you might have a watershed for video content, but then a kind of 10% or other percent rule for non-video ads. Really raises some interesting questions, doesn't it?
Absolutely, particularly actually this split, the hybrid option. I mean, as far as I know, it's unprecedented to have an online rule which would capture things like video on demand and YouTube, but have a different approach to online banners.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could see there's some content that's a banner but has a little bit of kind of moving content in it. Is that video or is that not video?
Yes.
And what about influencers and their work with brands?
Absolutely. Who often that work it might be an HFSS product, but they won't think of it as a product targeted at children. So they might be quite surprised to think that they would be caught by this, and it would have a huge impact on what they would be able to do and the material they could put out.
Yeah, definitely. It could effectively amount to censorship of what most people would regard as editorial content.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's not quite clear how a timing ban would work for something like influencer content either.
True. I'm not sure you can set timing on YouTube for access.
No, well, I don't know. It'll be something we'll be finding out, and maybe the platforms would actually have to adapt a little bit and create new mechanisms.
It all seems like it's going to have a lot of unintended consequences potentially.
Yes, it really does.
You talked about products and different kinds of unexpected products that could fall within this
yes.
set of restrictions.
I think that's the other thing about the unintended consequences, because we've tied it now to the PHE reformulation categories. You've got some categories in there, for example, things like breads with additions, so that would be like bread with bits of olives in and such like, which again would not typically have thought of as a kid's product.
I don't think the youth of Britain is getting fat on olive bread. Or maybe they are.
Maybe they are. I mean, there is supposed to be some data behind the choice of the categories, but it does mean that we've sort of moved away, although this is framed in terms of childhood obesity, we've kind of moved away from classically kids products that are developed for kids and marketed at kids to capture things that we think of as adult or at least age neutral products. So you've got things like potato products in there. So that would capture things like crisps and chips and such like, which are not necessarily branded or advertised as children's products.
And yogurts are in there as well, potentially.
Indeed, yes. So some products that people think of as healthy in other ways might potentially be called. Obviously, only insofar as they're HFSS.
So the proposals are up for consultation.
They are. Industry and other interested parties have till the 10th of June to respond. Well, that was really interesting. Thank you, Nick, and thank you for watching. We will be monitoring developments on this one.
Yes, thank you for watching.